Hello and welcome to part 2 of our front brake and rotor job on a 2016 Honda Civic on the Fix It Frank 412 YouTube channel. If you haven't seen part 1, I'm going to link it in this video so you can go view part 1 first. But part 1 we did all the removal steps. So we removed the old pads, rotors, caliper bracket, and the old rotor. So now we're going to get ready to do our reinstallation, which you guys set up there. First thing I'm going to do, and I got yelled at in another brake video I did for this, but I think I found this to work the best in areas where we have salt and winter, is I apply a little bit of anti-seize here to this backing plate in between all of the lug studs here. The studs for the lug nuts. I do that before I put the new rotor on, just so that way hopefully it won't stick as bad for the next person who's doing these brakes, which I'm assuming is probably going to be me again. I plan to keep this car for a while. So we're going to put the new rotor on, and you have to line up. In this case, there's 2 of these holes where you can put that screw. You'll want to line up and make sure that the hole lines, there's only going to be one way this rotor will go on, for that hole to line up where the hole is in the wheel bearing to put that screw in. I'm going to go ahead and just stick a little bit of anti-seize on that bolt, so hopefully next time it won't be as hard to get it out. And I'm going to just use you can use a regular screwdriver or the impact screwdriver to put it back in. I'm not going to, just gonna, put it in here hand tight. Basically, you don't even have to reinstall it. I like to though, because it holds the rotor flat while you're installing everything else, not flopping around on you. So got the screw put back in. Next, we're going to clean the caliper bracket. So you want to make sure that your slides slide, which in this case they do. I'm still going to, if they don't slide, we want to pull them out. Usually I'll get a pair of vice grips on here and pull on the end to pull it out. But if they do slide, you should be able to just hold the rubber boot and slide it out from around there. And I like to stick some fresh brake lubricant on these, just to keep them sliding well. If you keep these sliding well, your pads will last as long as possible. So put it back in there, kind of slide it around, slide it in and out. Do the same with this bottom. I do them one at a time because they are different. There's 2 different ones and they are side specific. Get this one, get some extra grease on here, or lubricant on there, and go ahead and stick that back into this side. Same thing, push it in and out, move it around. Next, the new brake pads did come with new clips, but I found out on the other side that they didn't really fit as well as these factory Honda clips, so we're just going to go ahead and clean these up. Now, one thing I do like to do is pop these clips off though, and quickly clean under them, especially since we have salt here in Pennsylvania. So these clips also are side specific. So I'm going to hold it like this, take this one off, stick it here, took this one off, stuck it there, so they go back on where they should be. And I'm going to use this just to file down any rust areas, just to make sure these new pads slide as well as possible. Okay, do this side. Yeah, I don't know why the new clips, usually the new clips they give fit perfect. It's the first time I think this might be the first time I've had a set of new hardware clips not fit well, but just made the determination that the old ones weren't in that bad of condition. So again, went ahead and ground both of these surfaces down. I'm going to reinstall these old clips. Make sure I put them back on the side that I took them off from. Okay, and then I'm going to use the wire brush to brush in here and clean off the any debris and dirt and stuff that's in there. And you'll see they clean up pretty quickly and easily. Whatever material they're made out of, some sort of soft, maybe copper or aluminum. Okay. Do that with both sides. Okay. And then what I like to do, you could do this two different ways. You could either install this now and then put lubricant on the pads as you stick them in here, or I like to stick the lubricant on these slides before I put the pads in. That way when I put the pads in, I only have to lubricate where the calipers is actually hitting them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here quickly. Getting low on this. Okay, got some on that side. I'm going to flip this around and hopefully get enough out of here for both sides. Do that again. And this is mainly just to keep everything sliding good, as well as if there's any metal-to-metal contact areas, keep it from making any noise. Now, before I install that, this is again something where some people will argue with me or say otherwise, but I've been doing brakes for probably about 15 years or so now, and I've not had any issues with this. I put a little bit of anti-seize on all the bolts as I'm reinstalling because I want it to be easier next time to make sure nothing sticks. Now, some people will say put Loctite on these so they don't come out. I put anti-seize on them. I've never had them come out. You just want to make sure that you tighten them good by hand so that they don't come out. Loctite, you know, I'm not saying that that's not a bad way to do it, but you know, it will get all backwards there. So Loctite will work too if you want to do that. That's fine. I find it that I want to make it easier for myself next time. Now, if I wasn't keeping the car, I probably wouldn't worry about it. But plans are we're gonna keep this car for a while longer because it's been good to us. So again, I can run these most of the way in by hand, and then get our 17 millimeter and tighten them up. Again, make sure they're nice and tight so they won't loosen themselves, but I never put an air impact or anything on it. Always do them by hand. Okay, now we're ready to install our new pads. Now, before we do that, I need to push this piston back in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I just take one of the old pads, stick it in here into the old thing, and then I use this little tool. They make many different tools to do this. You can also, if you don't have a tool and you have a pair of like a clamp plier, you can put it on here and clamp this and slowly put it back to where it was. Now I take my time, and I also make sure I'm not kinking the hose, so that way the fluid can run back into the master cylinder reservoir. You shouldn't have overflow of fluid unless you added fluid at some point. If you never added fluid, chances are you'll be okay, because the fluid is just going to go back to where the level it was probably when the car was, you know, close to new. It also will matter depending on your rear brakes and how worn they are as well. Push that all the way back in. Okay, that's done. Okay. Now, put these new pads in. Just need to make sure that we have the correct pad for the back side, which has the indicator for when your pads get low. You want to make sure it's on the same side as the ones that we took off. So here's the one I took off. Here's the new pad. So that looks good. Gonna go ahead again, since I already lubricated where the sides are, I'm just gonna put a little bit of lubricant here where the piston from the caliper is going to hit. And then I'll slide this in. Okay, should slide in easy. If it doesn't slide in easy, chances are you need to clean those clips up, or there's some rust behind those clips you need to clean up better. If it slides in easy, that means that it will touch and come away from the rotor easily when needed. The front one doesn't have any sort of squealer on it. I'm just going to put a little bit of lubricant here and here where our caliper is going to touch it. The other way you could do that is put the lubricant on here, but I prefer just to put it on the pads. Extra doesn't hurt. There's a little extra where those aren't touching. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay. Go ahead and... Again, very easily. I didn't have to force that. If you have to force it, clean up your slides a little better. Also going to put a little anti-seize on these bolts as well. Again, I'm sure I'll get some crap in the comment section. Oh, don't do that. You want to put some anti-seize. You want to put some Loctite on them. You don't want them coming loose. I also don't want them not coming out the next time I want to do brakes on this. It'll make my job easier. We're going to put these little clips in. You'll see there's little holes in the pads for them. You want to make sure they're all the way in. This is going to stick out a little bit because when the caliper presses down on it, that's going to give it a little extra spring to pull those fully away from your rotor when you're not on your brakes. Okay. And then we just need to make sure that we're not all twisted here, so just watch your hose and get one of your holes lined up. Get your bolt started. And you may have to twist these slides a little bit because they kind of have a design to them to help you get the bolts tight so that they're not spinning. So you may have to move them around a little bit if you're having trouble getting these in. We'll switch to our 12 millimeter. And tighten these up. While I'm doing this, I guess we'll kind of wrap up here. I don't want this video being too long for everyone. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these by hand and then remove my jack stand and get my wheel on. I tighten my lug nuts to 95 foot-pounds. That's what I do on all passenger cars. Again, I know somebody will say, oh, it only should be 77, it should be 85. You know, 95 is what I've done on all passenger cars, and I've never had a wheel fall off, and I've never had wheel bearings prematurely go on me. So I'm going to put that on. I'm going to remove my jack stand, put the wheel on, let the vehicle down onto the ground, and torque the wheel lug nuts down to 95. let the car completely off the jack, and then before you go to take it for a test drive, make sure you press the gas pedal down a couple, or the brake pedal down a couple times before you move it and turn it on, so that way your pads can get adjusted in there correctly, and you have brakes the first time you need them. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. Again, this was part 2. If you want to see the removal, go back to the prior video. Part 1, I'll have it linked in this video. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and feel free to give a thumbs up and leave a comment if this was helpful to you. Thank you so much.